What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. Obviously, we are not ESPN First Take here. We are not a debate show. But I am curious just to hear your personal experience as a basketball fan. What does winning this tournament and winning this tournament MVP mean for you in your fan experience watching LeBron James?
That's a good question. I don't want to get too hot takey with it, but I think it's just an incredible testament to how great he remains. And I said my biggest takeaway from Las Vegas was the confirmation that the Lakers are in the inner circle of title contenders. If not, I'm with you right now. I'd put them behind Denver and Boston at number 3. But the biggest reason for that is because when LeBron James wants to be the best player on the floor, he is the best player on the floor. And the fact that we're still saying that in year 21 at, he's less than 3 weeks away from being 39, turning 39, like that's just insane. And the way that he just eviscerated the New Orleans Pelicans with an assassin-like efficiency of just, I'm going to put this game away. I'm going to hit 3 straight threes. I'm going to be playing to the crowd, getting the pro LA crowd into this as kind of turning it into a home court advantage. Like it's just, it's incredible. And I think LeBron has mastered the game to the point where like we've seen it, like he'll have, 16 points through the first 3 quarters, and then he'll have a big fourth quarter. And, sometimes I feel like his numbers don't always reflect the impact he had over the full 48 minutes or however many minutes he played. But like in a single elimination format, and we've seen it in crunch time too, like you put LeBron in a situation where he's like, I have 3 to 5 minutes to manipulate this game, extract all the juice offensively out of our sets and run the LeBron AD pick and roll and find mismatches. And hey, Austin's got to go and give the ball to Austin, or they're overplaying this. Like let's, Cam Reddish, you cut here or you spot up here. Like he just knows how to manipulate the game offensively. And then I think defensively really has stepped up, where earlier in the season, there were times where I felt he was a little lackadaisical defensively, to put it kindly. And with his box outs and his rotations and just his general defensive effort. But I thought he was great in the tournament. And a big part of the reason why the Lakers were able to stifle the Pacers the way that they did was not just Anthony Davis and his incredible defensive dominance and not just the point of attack defense with guys like Torian and Cam, but it was also LeBron playing that middle linebacker role and intercepting passes, deflecting passes, making really smart low man rotations. And like, there just aren't many guys who can do what he does on both ends of the floor when he's fully engaged. And we've seen now he can still get to that level when it really matters. So to me, this is just confirmation that LeBron can still be the best player on a championship team. And not only that, he can really be the best player on the floor against just about anyone. Like I think with the exception of maybe Jokic, that's the one guy who his peak is still higher than LeBron's. But otherwise, LeBron is as good as anyone when he's playing his best right now. And to say that in year 21, about to be age 39, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, last year I thought was the first year in LeBron's career, outside of maybe his rookie year, where like you're like, okay, he's not in that top tier of superstars. Like he's probably in that tier right beneath that. And like even when he was healthier, but like before the foot injury to start the year, his scoring volume was there and he had his moments, but his jump shot wasn't consistent. He wasn't as impactful defense. It just wasn't as good last year, I thought. And so the obvious kind of response there is like, oh, LeBron's 38. Like he's starting to decline a little bit, that kind of thing. And it's like, no, he just comes back with a vengeance this year. And he's just like literally not just better than last year, but probably better than the year before as well. Like this is the best version of LeBron I've seen since when he won the title in 2020. He's having a career year from 2-point range, a career year from 3-point range. He's been incredible in crunch time. I thought this week was kind of a perfect encapsulation of like of all the levels you need to hit in order to be like a top tier superstar, which is like Tuesday against the Suns. It's like shootout duel in crunch time against Kevin freaking Durant, and he literally does better and wins. And he was so incredible down the stretch.
And for the third time,
and then it's Thursday, and it's like, and for the third time this season, and then we go to Thursday, and it's like, okay, well, can he like snatch a team's heart from the opening tip? And it's like, yeah, he could still do that. Like he like straight up made everybody on the Pelicans have no belief in their ability to win the game with like early in the second quarter, which was crazy. And then we go to the Saturday game, which I thought was another interesting type of game where it's like literally Rick Carlisle is just having Aaron Nesmith play a pest all game long, just up underneath him the entire game, fouling the hell out of him, super physical everywhere. And he just does a bunch of little things and impacts the game and leads them along the way. And also a lot of deferring and force feeding Anthony Davis, who kind of had the best advantages in that game. And so to me, that was like all of the little check boxes that you want to see from a top tier superstar. Now, as far as like an accomplishment here, it's really hard to like measure this to other championships simply from the standpoint that it's never happened before. But let's just lay it down as a simple matter of fact. It was a single elimination tournament that every team in the league had an opportunity to qualify for, with a clear cash prize of $500,000 per player, which is a lot of freaking money, right? And a big old trophy at the end of it, right? And 4 of our top contenders were in there. Boston was in there, Milwaukee was in there, and Phoenix was in there, and the Lakers were in there. And the Lakers ended up comfortably winning, and LeBron was the best player in the tournament. He was. So, like, you guys tell me what you think that's worth. It's not worth the championship, that's for sure, but it's not worth nothing either. It's certainly, in my opinion, an impressive accomplishment. And to me, like, in terms of trying to quantify it, really, all it is to me is just the latest in a long line of examples of what makes LeBron a guy who's in the conversation for the greatest basketball player of all time, which is, simply put, he wanted to win the damn thing. And then when he did, he was able to. And that to me is just like an encapsulation of the freak competitor that LeBron is. That's, in my opinion, one of the most under-discussed elements of him in his career, is that he is a freak competitor, because people are so dissuaded by smiles instead of scowls that they can't like understand the difference between the two. But I just, as a LeBron fan, I had a ton of fun watching him this week. It was just like another cool LeBron moment, for lack of a better way of describing it. But before we get out of here, you had mentioned that you had some anecdotes that you wanted to share from your time at on the ground at the tournament. So I wanted to give you the floor to share those stories for us.
Yeah, well, I think along the lines of discussing LeBron and how much he cared about this, how much he gave to win this, and you know, just all the effort that I think, you know, kind of goes in behind the scenes, like being in the locker room after they won the championship. It was kind of this, anytime there's a championship situation, it's surreal. And like the T-Mobile Arena is not really designed like a traditional NBA arena. Like typically things are kind of on one side of the arena where you can go back and forth between the locker room or the press room, or everything's within a pretty close walking distance. This was the exact opposite, where, you know, you had the media room on one side of the arena, you had the press conference room on the other side of the arena, then you had the Lakers locker room. So it was almost like a triangle of trying to go back and forth. And you know, for me, I'm hobbled. I'm trying to get around, trying to be there for the press conferences. So it was a lot. But once I got to the Lakers locker room, and LeBron had already spoken, he's just sitting there with his shirt off, just in shorts. And he's got ice on his knees, and he's just kind of staring. And you could just tell, like, the guy was exhausted. And he even said it. He was kind of like talking to himself a little bit. And he's just like, man, like, I'm so fucking tired. Like, this was so fucking tiring. And it was just like, he's just sitting, and you're just like, this is arguably the greatest player, second greatest player of all time, who, you know, they invent this new tournament that he didn't have to care about. And, you know, easily could have lost to Phoenix and had themselves a nice few days off before playing Dallas on Tuesday. And he was like, no, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to give it my all. And like, again, we're talking like trying on defense and doing things that is sounds simple, but for a guy who has played more minutes than anyone in NBA history, like he really gave it his all in that game and really throughout the tournament. And I thought that was just like, because at that point there's sort of like a security line around LeBron. Like he wasn't doing media. So you could kind of just focus on him. There was no one within a good 5-6 feet of him. And I was just watching him. And then I love the little joke that he threw in. He'll always kind of throw in some subtle like MJ barbs. So when Austin was doing his media for a second time in the locker room, LeBron just yells out, "Who had the better flu game, AR or MJ? It's up for debate." And like you could just tell like he was sitting on something like that. So I thought like overall, he was in pretty positive spirits, but like there was also a business like element to the Lakers where, yeah, they celebrated that there was a champagne room. Like, you're going to do that after you win. They're excited. They won the cup. They got this money. But I thought LeBron and AD at the podium it was very much like Kobe, like job's not finished. And for them, it was just like, yeah, this was nice, but it's early December. We've got another 6 months until where we want to be. Like a lot has to happen for us to get back here in a championship setting. Another thing I thought was quite telling was I don't think people realize how close LeBron and AD actually are. And of course, they're both at Clutch and they've been teammates now for 5 years. But after the podium, they always typically go together post game. They're kind of stepping to the side, and there's some NBA PR people there and some Lakers people there. And so they're kind of waiting for the traffic to clear. And LeBron just leans in and tells him, "I love you, bro. Like, I love you." And he had just been asked the question about what AD has meant to his career of, he's now played with AD longer than Dwayne Wade, longer than Kyrie, longer than Kevin Love, longer than Chris Bosh. This is his longest tenured superstar teammate. And he said, like, it's meant everything. Like, it's been nice to have an alpha male who can take over games and like help me at this point in my career, like not have to do everything and really kind of be my equal. And, I think just that bond that they have and just the way that those two guys mesh, like I think for a duo that's only won one championship, like they have to be in that conversation for greatest duos ever that have only won one championship. Like it's getting to that point now where like they are such a special duo in the way that they complement each other and just give your team, in this case, the Lakers, and a clear physical advantage against basically anybody. Where like when LeBron and AD are healthy, they're going to play smash mouth basketball. They're going to live in the paint. They're going to live at the free throw line. And defensively, they're going to be physically imposing. And they're going to play a certain style. So to me, I think it was just a culmination of sort of the last 5 years of LeBron and AD, what their relationship means to each other, and sort of just them showing each other once again, like when we really lock in, we can win the title in 2020. We could win the end season tournament, and we're going to try and win the 2024 title as well.